Herewith the Norton's theorem is being discussed. This particular is analogous to the Thevenin's theorem discussion, and it is equally effective to solve the circuit when say the load resistance is varying. So if suppose say we are making a comparison with the mass or the nodal method, where say we have to write the set of equations and find out the solutions whenever there is a change in the load resistance value or change in the circuit element value. So instead of going for that solution by the set of equation, the linear circuit, which is consisting of the circuit element, independent sources and the linear dependent sources, is represented by one standard equivalent circuit. So we can calculate the load current simply in a single step without going for the formal solution by the set of equations likewise. So as a recap, we have gone through the circuit elements and the network topology, Kirchhoff's law, nodal and the mass method of analysis, and the Thevenin's theorem. This discussion is coming out to be on the analogous line of the Thevenin's theorem discussion likewise. We will also be having the another method to calculate the RTH and so on. So in the Thevenin's theorem, we have obtained the linear circuit equivalent by a voltage source and a series resistance. That particular voltage source is regarded as the Thevenin voltage and the RTH as the Thevenin resistance. So basically the linear two terminal circuit is replaced by a voltage source and a Thevenin resistance. Now in the Norton's theorem, instead of going for this, we will be representing a current source and a parallel resistance likewise. So that particular is the analogous discussion. The Norton's theorem states that the linear two terminal circuit can be represented by an equivalent circuit consisting of a current source IN and a resistor RTH in parallel. So IN is the short circuit current, which is the ISC, and RTH is the equivalent resistance looking into the terminal while the load is disconnected and the independent sources are turned off. So the RTH definition is the same as has been discussed in the Thevenin's theorem. So it also involves two steps: calculation of the ISC or the Norton current and calculating RTH. So first of all, see whether the circuits are equivalent or not, whether they can be represented likewise. So this is a linear circuit which is consisting of number of components interconnected likewise. Here say the equivalent. Just to test its validity, we will be seeing the behavior during the short circuit and what will be the behavior when say the independent sources are turned off. So during the short circuit, this is a simple element, this is a simple circuit, the load is disconnected and done the short circuiting likewise. So it will be carrying the short circuit current. If suppose say we are making here the short circuit, this resistance will be 0. So whole of the Norton current is going to pass through this particular branch. So that particular current is equal to the IL. If suppose say the independent sources are turned off, then this particular is a current source which is an independent source. To turn it off, we have to do a open circuit. So the ultimately the input resistance experienced by this particular equivalent will be the RTH, and the equivalent resistance experienced by this is the R input. So as we have seen in the Thevenin's theorem, when say the R input is equal to the RTH, ISC is equal to the IN, so then only the two circuits will be equivalent likewise. Calculation of the IN and the RTH involve the following steps. So the IN, which is a short circuit current, so the process is simple: disconnect the load resistance, short the load terminals and calculate the short circuit current. However, the RTH situation depends when say the circuit is consisting of only independent sources or the circuit involves dependent or controlled sources as well, or even say the only dependent sources. So we will be going through the examples likewise. Here say the same example as has been discussed in the Thevenin's theorem. We have to find out the Norton equivalent and calculate the load current I, which is going through the 1 ohm resistance. It is having a voltage source, it is having a current source. So calculation of the ISC, simply remove the load resistance and do the short circuit. We will not be disturbing the rest of the circuit. So it is having only a one common node other than the reference node. So the nodal equation is written and we will be able to calculate the ISC equal to the 2 ampere. To calculate the RTH, we have to do the short circuit for a ideal voltage source, open circuit for the ideal current source. So that is done and the RTH is calculated. So that particular is giving you the value 3 ohm. The equivalent is done. So current through this load resistance is decided by the parallel division and this is the value 1.5 ampere. Now when say the circuit involves both independent and the dependent source, so the steps are likewise. First, remove the load resistance. Independent sources are turned off. So this particular procedure is known to us, that the voltage sources are short circuited and the current sources are open circuited. When say the circuit is involving the dependent sources, then their effect can only be counted if suppose there is a source of energy, because the dependent source effectiveness or value depends on the current or voltage of the other branch or element. So we have to apply the external voltage source. So that particular is done. When say the voltage V0 is measured, we will be measuring the current I0 through that current supplied by that external source and calculating the RTH likewise. Another step which is complementary to this, instead of supplying the voltage source, we will be having a current source, but when say the current source is there, we will be measuring the voltage across this. So ultimately the process is to calculate the RTH, which is equal to V0 upon I0. So this particular process is carried out for this. Let's say we are interested in calculating the current I in the 2 ohm resistor using the Norton's equivalent. So the Norton's equivalent involve the two steps. First, calculate the IN current, which is the short circuit current, and calculate the RTH. So to calculate ISC, simply the load resistance is removed and done the short circuiting, and correspondingly we will be having a single node variable with respect to the reference. So the equation is written and we will be getting the ISC likewise. Now to calculate the RTH, we have to make this original circuit ineffective. So the voltage source is short circuited. Now this is a dependent source. Its value is depending on this particular branch current. So there will be a current only when some active source is there. So we connected the external voltage source V0. Just to calculate this input resistance, we will be measuring the current I0, and this particular voltage is, you can say, connected by the user. So we are presuming that the voltage is known. Going by the step systematic procedure, we will be able to have the relation of the I0 with the V0. So that particular is giving rise to the RTH value likewise. And once say this particular equivalent is formed, we can calculate the load current by the division of current in the parallel resistors. So that particular is calculated like this. Now if suppose we are looking to the Thevenin equivalent and the Norton equivalent simultaneously, so if we are recollecting that this particular is an equivalent of the practical voltage source, where say the Norton equivalent is the equivalent of a practical current source. So analogously, we have transformed the voltage source to the current source, or current source can be transformed to the voltage source. So this particular is possible when, say, we will be able to associate the RTH by the VTH and the ISC like this. So RTH is equal to VTH upon ISC, or you can say VOC upon ISC. So this particular is giving the third method to calculate the Thevenin resistance. So the steps are simple. Compute the VOC as we have done in the Thevenin's case. Compute the ISC as we have just calculated the IN, and thereafter calculate the RTH. So this particular is a step which is to be taken, and we will be solving the finding out the current in this particular 8 ohm resistor using the Thevenin's or the Norton equivalent, because it has been made clear that they are complementary. So the open circuit voltage is to be calculated. This is made open circuit, so the VOC is coming out to be, in this it is acting as a potential divider. So whatever say the voltage across this, that is 4 into 3 divided by 6. So that will be VA with respect to this common terminal. VB is coming out to be minus 4 volt. So the VAB will be whatever say the voltage across this resistor minus 4. So that is equal to the 6 volt. We are calculating the ISC. So to calculate the ISC, it is made a short circuit, and when say we are seeing the 3 voltages we are able to mark. But with respect to this reference, the V2 is known. With respect to this, V1 is also known, and V2 is nothing but V. So that particular is the equation we have to have. Let's say you are writing the KCL equation here. So it is resulting into the formulation like this. So V1 is known, that particular is 3 volt. V2 or V is known, that is equal to minus 4 volt, but the ISC will be calculated with this. So that particular is giving rise to the 4.5 ampere. So the VOC is known, ISC is known, we will be able to calculate the RTH. RTH is known. So whether it is a Thevenin equivalent or this particular is the Norton equivalent. So you have simply substituted the numerical value. You calculated the current, load current here, say the VTH upon RTH plus RL. This particular is giving you the 0.643 ampere. The same result is obtained when say the parallel division of the current is taking place with this particular short circuit current or the Norton current. Now this particular is a little complicated circuit. So there we are interested in calculating the I0 using the Thevenin or the Norton's theorem. So the steps are coming out to be the same. We will be calculating the VOC. We will be calculating the ISC as well. So to calculate the VOC, the steps are likewise. So this is a circuit diagram. When say we are making the open circuit, so this is particular load resistance is removed. When say the load is removed, the behavior will look like. So during the open circuit, the I0 will be 0. This particular is a controlling parameter for this dependent voltage source. So the dependent voltage source value 4I0 will be equal to 0, and that will be exactly like the short circuit. So this is drawn here, this is a short circuit likewise. But we are able to see that this 12 and 4 ohm, they are exactly in parallel, and their value, the parallel combination value is 3 ohm. So that particular is represented like this, and the 24 ohm is coming directly across the battery likewise. So during the open circuit condition, there is no current in this. So whatever say the voltage across this and this, that will be deciding the VOC. So that particular is 24 volt. Now we have to compute the ISC. So this particular load resistance is removed, and the short circuit is done. Now the I0 is marked a new current ISC, and correspondingly this particular is a controlling current. The voltage value of this dependent source depends on the current, so that is designated as 4ISC. So as say the system is like this, we will be able to solve by any method. We are invoking the mass current method and writing the KVL equation. So first of all, the ISC, which is a constraint, or you can say additional relation that is needed, so that is equal to I1 minus I3 as per the nomenclature of I1, I2, I3. You have written the KVL around this, so that is minus 24 plus 12 I1 minus I2 is equal to 0. So this particular is simplified and rearranged into the form that is resulting into I1 minus I2 is equal to 2. On the similar line, you have written the equation for the second mass: 12 I2 minus I1 plus 4 I2 minus I3 plus 4 ISC is equal to 0. Then the ISC is substituted, I1 minus I3, and the equation terms are rearranged. So this particular is giving the second mass equation. On the analogous line, the third mass equation, so this is the 24 I3 plus 4 I3 minus I2 is equal to 0, and that particular is simplified, so it is resulting into the form like this. These three equations, which are marked with the blue, they are solved, and we will be getting the current value likewise this. So correspondingly, the ISC value is obtained as 4 ampere, because that is nothing but I1 minus I3. RTH, that is by the VOC upon ISC. VOC has already been calculated as 24 volt. So this particular is giving the 6 ohm value. Now we can form the Thevenin equivalent or the Norton's equivalent and calculate the load current, which is coming out to be 1.5 ampere in this case. This is another example. We have to find out the current I0 across this. So it is having the similar nature. This I0 is a controlling current. This is a controlled or dependent supply. So when say I0 is coming out to be 0, its contribution will be 0. It is a voltage source, so it is represented by a short circuit likewise. And as we have seen that 8 and 2 ohm, they are directly coming across the parallel, so that particular equivalent circuit is marked. Now what we are seeing, that this 20 volt is appearing directly across the AB terminal. So VAB is equal to VOC, that is 20 volt. To calculate ISC, this is a short circuit which is done, and here we can frame the KCL, or you can say the KVL relation likewise. By the KVL relation it has been attempted. So KVL suggests the voltage around any closed path, considering the rise and drop, has to be equal to 0. So this particular is a voltage rise, that is minus 20. This particular, when oriented likewise, is also a rise, so minus 10 ISC. There is no voltage drop across this because it is only a conducting wire, no resistance is present. So that particular is suggesting ISC is equal to minus 2 ampere. RTH, when we are calculating, so that particular is giving us minus 10 ohm. So the negative resistance is a new parameter which is giving you, say, the new term to confront with, because the resistance value is negative. So that particular will be coming, and I0 is equal to minus 5 ampere. So for the I0, you can simply say that the direction is opposite to what has been referenced, so that there is no issue. But now come to this negative resistance. So if suppose say we are simply making the I square R, then the power absorbed will be negative, and that is suggesting that the resistance is supplying power. So it is difficult to understand or confront that the resistance is supplying. However, believe that the resistance is not supplying, this dependent source is supplying power. And ultimately, when say we have solved the circuit by the procedure, the resistance value is coming out to be negative. So you can say this is another method, or you can say one of the method involving the dependent source to realize the negative resistance. Now, after having said a few examples, it's time to have a summary of the things that in the Norton equivalent, the linear circuit is represented by a current source IN and a parallel resistance RTH. IN is nothing but it is a short circuit current, and it is to be calculated by removing the load resistance and sorting the load terminals. RTH can be calculated by three methods: by the network reduction for circuit with the independent sources only. We can make use of the external supply and calculate the RTH is equal to V0 upon I0. But while doing so, we have to make the independent source ineffective in the linear circuit. Or we can make use of the RTH by VTH upon ISC, or you can say VOC upon ISC. So in this, we will not be disturbing the original linear circuit. Only the load terminals are first open circuited. We have noted down the VOC, then the short circuited. So the short circuit current is measured or noted likewise, and therefore the Thevenin equivalent resistance is obtained. When say one of the equivalent, like say the Thevenin equivalent is obtained, then correspondingly the Norton's equivalent can be obtained by the source transformation, or you can say the Norton's equivalent is obtained, then we can obtain the corresponding Thevenin equivalent by the source transformation. For the circuit with the dependent source, RTH become negative. This is the way to simulate the negative resistance. So there should not be any apprehension about the negative resistance value. In this, the power basically is supplied by the dependent source. Next, we will be discussing the maximum power transfer theorem. For further reading, you can refer these particular textbooks.